Hello and welcome to another episode of Rounding Third, brought to you by Podbean.com. You can catch us online at youtube.com/roundingthird1. That's Rounding Third 1. Welcome to the show. My name is Chris Wilson. Alongside me here for this show is
Zach Delyden, as always, bringing you the latest news from the major leagues. And what do we got on tap for the listeners tonight, Chris?
Well, we're going to be talking about the Biogenesis scandal, and we're going to give you a draft recap of some of the top picks in the 2013 draft. But first, we're going to go over to that Biogenesis scandal that rocked the MLB world a couple weeks back. And the big story here was mostly with A-Rod, but there are a few other players that are alleged to be clients of this clinic in Florida. And Zach, you want to start us off with a little bit more information on that?
Yeah, there's about 20 players in all who could face severe penalties if it's proven that they did indeed knowingly and willingly purchase banned substances from this clinic in Florida. Among them, of course, as you mentioned, Alex Rodriguez, also Brewers left fielder Ryan Braun, Nelson Cruz of the Rangers, Bartolo Colon, who has really revived his career with the Oakland Athletics, Gio Gonzalez, Melky Cabrera, and Padres catcher Yasmani Grandal. I mean, if these guys are proven guilty and that they, like I said, willingly got banned substances from this clinic, then they face severe penalty that they could be facing up to, the MLB's talking 100-game suspensions.
Yeah, and they're also saying that this could be probably, if the report is correct and all these players are found guilty, this could be the largest group punishment in MLB since back in 1920. There was the Black Sox scandal that happened back then. So, I mean, this could be a major blow to the world of MLB, and it could really change the game forever because, there might be stricter punishments coming in, after they maybe run through this and figure out, what the whole deal was and how these players were going about getting around the testing.
Yeah, I think, when you look at it, it's going to affect more than baseball. This is going to be a wide array of changes made across all organized sports. I know the NFL is talking now that they're going to potentially start testing for HGH, other performance-enhancing drugs like that. And certainly, you're going to see the MLB kick it up a notch, for lack of a better term, when it comes to regulating the use of these substances, basically, trying their best to eliminate the use of these substances. And it really is a shame that so many players, so many quality players, that is, feel the need to go out and cheat in this sense and use these banned substances.
Yeah, and I think it takes away from the true meaning of baseball. And, I feel like if there's all these players coming out as guilty with attending this clinic, I feel like that's going to change the fan base with Major League Baseball, at least for a little bit. I feel like some of the fans are going to maybe switch to, another sport for that time and just maybe not focus all their attention on their teams until maybe something is cleared up and, some resolution is made from this. That's just a thought. I'm sure that's not going to happen. I'm sure baseball is still going to be followed by true fans. Are going to follow their teams all the time. But, I mean, there could be an effect by taking some numbers away, from viewing. There might be people who are going to say, I'm not going to watch the game because some of these other players are also cheating in the game, maybe not with the performance-enhancing drugs, but, as you said, with the HGH and things like that. So I'm sure there's going to be a percentage of people that might be shied away from maybe either attending the games, watching the games on TV, or just being a part of the fan base.
And the last story that we have for you guys today is a quick recap of the 2013 MLB first-year player draft, which was held June 6th through the 8th in New Jersey. Every year, high school players and college players alike get the chance to finally live up to their dream and don the cap and uniform of a Major League Baseball team. And for the over 2,000 players selected in this year's draft during the course of the 39 or so rounds, that dream came one step closer. Chris and I are going to do a quick recap of the top 10 players drafted, starting with
number 1 overall Mark Appel, the right-handed starting pitcher out of Stanford University. He went to the Houston Astros. I really like Appel's stuff. He has what it takes to be an ace in the major leagues, and I would not be surprised to see him up in the majors playing for Houston potentially by the end of this season. He's that good, but more importantly, the Houston Astros are that bad that they will definitely feel the need to not only bring a talented pitcher up to the big league club, they're going to want to fill some seats there and get some excitement into the fan base. That would be an excellent place to start.
And Zach, you also bring a good point up there with the excitement around the team, and that brings us to number 2 here with Chris Bryant. He is from San Diego University, and he was selected by the Cubs, and I think this is going to be a good choice for the Cubs, looking at their third base roster. I think this will be interesting and, obviously bring some more excitement to the team as, the Cubs in past years, we haven't really seen them be too successful as a Cubs fan would hope in the end. Obviously, number 2 pick in the draft, I would say that not too bad. The Cubs being up in the top there at the top end of the selection. Look out for Chris Bryant at third base.
And number 3, we've got Jonathan Gray, another starting pitcher out of Oklahoma. Jonathan Gray, many scouts considered the 1A to Mark Appel's 1. Jonathan Gray is an outstanding starting pitcher. He's gonna definitely solidify the Colorado Rockies pitching staff. The only thing I worry about is Colorado is definitely a hitter-friendly ballpark. The thin air, the ball definitely flies out of there, but I think Jonathan Gray has the stuff and the makeup to be successful no matter where he pitches.
And this is number 4, and I find this one extremely interesting, and I'm sure you will too, Zach. This is Cole Stewart. He was selected by the Twins, and get this, he came from St. Pius X High School in Houston. So, that being said, we have a high school player entering the draft for the MLB, which I think is pretty darn cool. He is a right-handed pitcher, and he was actually planning to attend Texas A&M University. Basically, all his life, he actually wanted to go to play football for the A&M Aggies, but changed his mind here, and I guess throughout high school, decent player, and, he made it to the first round of the 2013 draft, and I think it's going to be very interesting, again, with that excitement for the Minnesota Twins. Such a young player. It'll be really interesting to see what happens with him as he develops himself within the league.
Yeah, and I think he made the right move, going, if he decides to sign up with the Twins, going the baseball route as opposed to trying to be a quarterback, because as we all know, the Aggies have Johnny Football lined up behind center, and he is not going anywhere anytime soon. So with that being said, that'll bring up number 5 on the countdown, Clint Frazier, an outfielder from Loganville High School, so second consecutive high school player taken in the first round, and he was selected by the Cleveland Indians. Frazier is one of the biggest bats, I guess you could say, as far as the outfielders are concerned. So the Indians are trying to bring some power to the outfield in their foreseeable future.
And now we move on to number 6. This is Colin Moran. He was selected by the Marlins organization coming from North Carolina University. So he was chosen at third base for Moran. And I feel like this will be a good fit for Moran because the Miami Marlins actually only have one third baseman in Zach Cox. And, with Cox at third base, say he gets hurt or anything like that, or, just doesn't perform to the expectations the organization, expected of him. I think it's a big opportunity for Colin to step up and prove himself as a major league player.
B.I.G.
All right, and that'll bring up number 7 on the countdown. That is your Boston Red Sox selecting left-handed pitcher out of Newcastle Chrysler High School, Trey Ball. So I'm looking up some information here. The 18-year-old Trey Ball is one of the most intriguing prospects in this year's draft simply because of the upside that he brings either at the left-handed starting pitching position, or he can also play corner outfield. So basically whatever the ultimate plans are that the Red Sox have for Mr. Ball, he has the potential to be a cornerstone
at either of those two positions, depending on which route they want to go.
So now coming in at number 8, selected by the Kansas City Royals, we have Hunter Dozier. He comes out of Stephen F. Austin University, shortstop. So this is one of the first shortstops that we've mentioned, and he comes out of Stephen F. Austin. He is 220 pounds, 6'4", so bigger guy, I would say, but seems like he's pretty well built for the Kansas City Royals organization.
And the Pittsburgh Pirates had the 9th selection in the draft. They took Austin Meadows, center fielder from Grayson High School. So a young outfielder here. He's also got some pop. I actually was hoping that he would slide down to the number 11 slot so that the Mets could take him. But I could definitely see a future for him in the Pittsburgh Pirates outfield. You've got McCutchen there, but the Pirates will be the Pirates. They have a tendency to want to trade their best player in order to bring in prospects and potential starters for down the line. So it's tough to say whether McCutchen will last too much longer there at the rate he's going. But if they decide to keep him, I could see Austin Meadows being a great addition at one of the corner outfield spots for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And our 10th and final pick that we're running through here on the show is Phil Bickford, and he was selected by the Toronto Blue Jays organization. Right-handed pitcher coming from Oaks Christian High School, meaning he is our 4th and final pick. That was a high school student in our top 10, so I would say that's pretty darn impressive for these 4 gentlemen. Bickford is extremely optimistic about the possibility of signing with them. However, he is committed to Cal State Fullerton, which is, to my recollection, a pretty decent university for baseball. Is that right, though?
No, that is correct. Cal State Fullerton, they usually do have a good baseball program. So, Bickford may wind up going there. And if he does, it'll be interesting to see how the Blue Jays react and who takes Bickford next time around, if that's what he decides to do.
That's right. So, yeah, he's basically still discussing the matter and, trying to see how it plays out, picking, see if the deal is going to be good for him or it'd be better for him to go through college, prove himself as a player with Cal State Fullerton, possibly as a standout. And then after those 4 or 5 years that he stays with Cal State Fullerton, maybe better chance of a better contract at that time. So exactly as you said, Zach, it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Chooses to go that route and go through college, or forgo the college and sign and try to prove himself in the major leagues for the Blue Jays. And that is our top 10 countdown of first-round picks for the 2013 draft.
And that'll about wrap things up here on another informative, provocative, and downright exciting episode.
That's darn right.
Of Rounding Third, brought to you by Podbean.com. If you like what you hear, you can catch us online at any time. Visit our YouTube page, Rounding Third 1. That's Rounding Third and the number 1. You can also shoot us an email if you want to hear us talk about something on the show. That's roundingthirdbase.gmail.com. Catch us on Facebook. Like our page, Rounding Third 1. You can like us there. If you're so inclined, you can also visit our website. It's roundingthird.podbean.com. This is Zach DeLayden. Alongside of me is once again my colleague,
Chris Wilson, and yes, as Zach said there, you can see there are no excuses for you not to be able to listen to this online, so with all of those routes, check us out. Thank you for listening to this episode, and again, here we are, signing off.